then I have to mute that or else it talks right back over us. 1 second. Any questions or anything before we get started?
Yes, this live on YouTube?
It will be on YouTube. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that. So it's on YouTube because we are required to hold public hearings. So they have to be public. I will delete these as soon as we're done. And there is no, I don't send out a notice or anything to people to watch. So they may happen across it. Sometimes we get some lawyers, family members watching, but that's about it. Okay? Are you all right with that, Ms. Ford?
Yes.
All right. It's just like an in-person hearing. They're open to the public. So if somebody were to walk in the middle of your sentencing, if we were doing this in the courtroom, they would have the right to do that. Okay. So we don't push it out like, hey, everybody come watch us, but we do have to make it public where if somebody wanted to find it, they could. Okay. All right. Anybody, any questions before I call a case?
Judge, I just wanted to let you and Gary know that I'll prepare the journal entry, send it to Gary, and then we'll e-file it for your signature.
Sounds great. Gary, you okay with that?
Absolutely.
All right. All right, let's be on the record in case.
Who's staticky?
Claire is a little bit staticky, so we'll make sure we get everything in the record. If Amanda has no problem speaking up if something breaks up and asks you to repeat it. All right, we're on the record in case number 2020 CR 98, caption State of Kansas versus Rezean Ford. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
Please the court. The state appears by Assistant District Attorney Claire Thibodeau.
May it please the court, the defendant appears with her attorney, Gary Long.
All right. I will note for the record that we are appearing today by video conference, given the pandemic that we've had. I had discussions with all counsel beforehand by email, and my understanding is there's no objection to proceeding in this way. Ms. Ford, I want you to know that people have a right to appear personally at their sentencings. And I guess there's some question whether this is an actual personal appearance, but in talking with your lawyer, my understanding is you want to proceed with this and you would waive being physically in the courtroom. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll accept that as a waiver of a personal opinion appearance, and we will continue with our hearing. So as I said, we're set down for sentencing today. The record should reflect that the parties appeared actually in court back on February 19th. And at that time, the defendant changed her plea from one of not guilty to guilty to 2 counts. The court inquired and accepted that plea, set it, ordered a pre-sentence investigation and set it for sentencing today. With that in mind, I've received the pre-sentence investigation. The critical findings are as follows. The primary offense of conviction is one of identity theft, which is a severity level 8 non-person felony. The defendant's criminal history score was found to be E. That would leave her with a presumed sentence of 13, 14, or 15 months in the Department of Corrections. She would normally have a presumption of probation. However, due to the special rule number 9 of a crime committed while on probation, she is without a presumption. That is a error, I believe, in the pre-sentence investigation. If she has to do this time, she will be subject to 12 months of post-release supervision. If she's granted probation today, it will be for a period of 18 months to community corrections. Pardon?
Sorry, that was my phone.
Oh, that's okay. I'll give you a second.
Period of 18 months to community corrections. Thank you.
All right. The second count of conviction is one of theft. That is a severity level 9 non-person felony. For scoring purposes, the defendant's criminal history score is I. That would leave her with a presumed sentence of 5, 6, or 7 months. Again, due to the special rule, she would not have a presumption of probation or prison. A post-release supervision duration of 12 months and a probation duration of 18 months. Ms. Thibodeau, I would ask you first, did you have an opportunity to review the PSI? Do you have any objections, corrections, or challenges to the finding therein?
Judge, I have received the PSI. I have reviewed it. I believe that Special Rule 9 applies because of her Lake County, Ohio case, but not because of her Wyandotte County 2019 case, which actually she committed after this case. It was just charged first. So I do believe Special Rule 9 applies because of the Ohio case. But that's the only mention I have of the PSI.
And that's the court's understanding as well. Here is what, as I was looking through the file, I saw that the parties agreed to concurrent sentences with the prior case. I think the fact that it's an Ohio felony conviction requires that this court consider it without a presumption. However, I do think that it is not mandatorily consecutive, given that it is not a Kansas case. Do you agree with that, Ms. Thibodeau?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Long, I would ask you the same questions. Have you had a chance to go over this PSI with your client? Do you have any objections or corrections?
Yes, Your Honor, I have it. The pre-sentence investigation, and Ms. Ford and I reviewed this back in March before things became disrupted. I have no additions or corrections to the pre-sentence investigation at this time.
All right. Ms. Ford, what your lawyer is telling me is that he went over this pre-sentence investigation with you, specifically the crimes that you pled to in this case and the recitation of your prior cases that are there, that you don't have any challenges to those findings. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Alrighty, thank you. All right, I will find that there are no challenges to the findings of the PSI and adopt them for the purposes of this hearing. With that, Ms. Thibodeau, I would ask you for any comment you have upon sentencing.
Judge, I would just ask that you follow the plea agreement, which was for each count to have the aggravated box to be run concurrently with each other and with her previous case, restitution to Nebraska Furniture Mart, and not to return to Nebraska Furniture Mart. And if you would give me 1 second to look up the number of restitution.
Yes.
$4,203.85.
Correct. And I see that there in the victim impact statement, there are 2 other requests, but those are for other cases. Is that correct?
Those were for her previous case, which I believe were already taken care of, Your Honor.
Correct. Okay. All right. Mr. Long, comments upon sentencing.
Your Honor, I would ask you to follow the plea agreement as well. Since Ms. Ford was granted probation in her previous Wyandotte County case, this case was filed sometime around the conclusion of the prior case. She is what would otherwise, other than the Lake County, Ohio case, be a presumptive probation case. Ms. Ford has not yet had the opportunity to show the court that she can perform satisfactorily on this probation, and she is ready and willing to do so.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Ms. Ford, now is your opportunity to tell me anything you want me to know in mitigation of your sentence today.
Your Honor, I just want to say that, like I said before, I apologize to the state of Kansas for my actions, and I accept whatever plea, whatever decision you make today, Your Honor.
All righty. Thank you, Ms. Ford. Mr. Long, do you or your client know any legal reason why I should not now proceed to sentencing?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So I am going to follow the plea agreement here today. And so I will sentence the defendant as follows. For the first count of identity theft, that being a severity level 8 non-person felony, she will be sentenced to the Department of Corrections for a period of 15 months. If she has to do that time, she'll be eligible to up to 20% good time credit and subject to a post-release supervision duration of 12 months. As to count 2, she will be sentenced for a period of 7 months to the Department of Corrections with the same 20% good time credit and 12-month post-release supervision. Her application for probation is considered and it is granted to community corrections for a period of 18 months. Let's see, as far as we go with costs and fees. Ms. Ford, I hope that you've been making some plans on how to meet the amount of restitution in this case. How do you propose that you're going to be able to pay on that?
Well, at this time, Your Honor, I don't know, with jobs being canceled right now, is no employment right now. So the only thing I can do is file for unemployment or something. I just have to probably just find a way when everything gets back to normal. But
All right. Well, look, what is it you normally do? If you were out and looking for work, do you have a particular skill or trade that you're involved in?
yes, I deal with manufacturing and automobiles.
Okay.
And
All
right
right.
now, the plants are closed right now due to this pandemic.
Okay. Well, hopefully that's a short-term problem. And I know that particularly in the manufacturing area that they've been gearing up to build different things. So I think you're going to be able to get employment. I'm going to give you a break in that I'm going to order that you start paying when gainfully employed. So that'll give you some time to get it done. But you're going to have to make honest and demonstrable efforts towards getting employed, okay? You can't avoid this restitution by just not seeking to get a job. You need to be out there trying to get one, and I'm sure you'll be able to, okay?
Okay.
All right. So as far as costs and fees go, I'm going to assess the court docket fee and the supervision fee. Mr. Long, I'm going to approve your attorney's fees, but I'm not going to charge your client any of those fees. There's going to be enough, and I would like the victim made whole first. So I am going to waive attorney's fees, and that includes the bids application fee. Is this Ms. Ford's first Kansas felony conviction?
No, Your Honor, there's the accompanying case for the same victim, same conduct.
I'm
That was a
sorry.
2019 case, Your Honor.
Right. Okay. So, and she's been sentenced in that case?
Yes.
All right. Then they would have already put the database fee in that case. So I will find that her DNA will already be on file. There won't be a fee required for this. The restitution will be in the amount mentioned by the state to Nebraska Furniture Mart. And given Ms. Ford's indication of her employment, I'm going to order that once she's gainfully employed, that she begin paying at a rate of $250 a month towards that fee. That might not get her all the way, or towards that restitution. That might not get her all the way done by the time her probation is done, but that can always go to collections. I think that is a reasonable amount given what Ms. Ford has told me about her resources. All right. Ms. Ford, you have 14 days from today's date to appeal anything you don't like about your sentence. You also may have the right to seek expungement of this conviction after a period of time following successful completion of probation. As a convicted felon, it is prohibited for you to own and possess a firearm, certain kind of deadly cutting instruments like dirks, daggers, switchblades. basically any knife that could be considered a deadly weapon. The point being, before you decide to own or possess any kind of weapon like that, make sure you talk to a good lawyer like Mr. Long to make sure that it wouldn't be reason to revoke your probation or to add new charges. All right. Ms. Thibodeau, I'll ask you first. Anything that jail time credit?
Judge, I have 204 days.
Mr. Long, does that sound right to you?
Yeah, she's been in since October 9th, so roughly 6 months, a little over 6 months.
That would be, okay. She'll be granted jail time credit for that amount of time. Ms. Thibodeau, anything else that I failed to place on the record today?
Judge, is she prohibited from returning to Nebraska Furniture Mart?
Thank you, she is.
And will this sentence be run concurrently or consecutively, the 2 counts with each other?
I did fail to mention that. The 2 counts are run consecutive with each other, and it is run, I'm sorry, they are concurrent with each other, and they are concurrent with the Ohio case, as well as her other Wyandotte County cases.
Okay, I think that covers everything then, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Long, anything I failed to cover?
I don't think so, but Ms. Ford has a question, Your Honor.
Correct. Yes, Ms. Ford.
Okay, with this hold, is there any amount of time that they have to come get me? Like, when I asked officers here, they say a reasonable amount of time. So with me being sentenced, how long do they have to come pick me up?
I am going to file your release today. So you'll be released on this case. And the deputies are correct in that what they say is the Ohio authorities have a reasonable amount of time to come get you. There's not a set deadline. They don't have 1 week. They don't have anything like that. So unfortunately, I can't tell you what that would be. And specifically, with the pandemic situation, I don't know if that'll make it longer or shorter. My guess is it would make it shorter because Wyandotte County at this time, having no hold on you, would like you out of their facility as fast as possible. So I imagine that what they'll do is they'll get a hold of the Ohio people. They will try and get them out here as fast as possible. And if it's something that's unreasonably long, then they will make Ohio either release their hold or speed up their time. So I can't tell you exactly. The sheriffs are going to be able to better tell you that. My guess is it's going to be a very short time.
Okay, one more question. And when I do get released, who do I discuss eye contact with?
Your probation officer, which is a good question. Your probation or the probation department was supposed to join us today. For some reason, they have not been showing up at any of my hearings today. So prior to your release, I will make sure, keep in touch with Mr. Long, and I will discuss with him. I'm going to send him an email today telling him who you should call. Right now, they have probationers on call-in status because they're not meeting in person, but I expect that that will change in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay, so make sure you know how to contact Mr. Long when you get out, correct?
Yes.
I will tell him, I will inform him today who he should direct you to call, okay?
Okay.
All right, Ms. Ford.
All right.
And don't mess around. As soon as you get out and get released, call me.
Okay.
Let's not get behind on the time of reporting, okay?
Okay.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, anything else we need for our record today? Ms. Thibodeau,
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Long,
No, Your Honor.
we are adjourned. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, Judge.
Bye-bye. Good luck, Ms. Ford.
And, thanks, Claire.
All
Good
right.
to see you
Thank
guys.
you.
I'm